Hello. There's a series that I'm newly beginning of book reviews. I've been an avid reader for quite a number of years. I read about 200 books, give or take, through high school, up to high school, several dozen in my college years, and now I've gotten back into reading recently. So I thought, since I've been reading so much lately, why not make some videos or reviews from books that I really liked. I've been reading quite a lot lately, and one of the series that I've just started is this series, the Circle of Three series. A book series which came out quite a while ago. This first book came out in 2001. And I'm pretty sure I actually saw these books way back then. I was a teenager then. I'm pretty sure I saw some of these books in Borders, a bookstore that no longer exists. Sadly, I really liked it. But I saw it then, I'm pretty sure, didn't pick it up. I've started reading it recently, and I'm actually really disappointed I didn't read it then because it's actually really good. So I'll be reviewing this series, Circle of Three. I'm going to review these in pairs of books. This is the first, and the second one I'll review them together. I'll do that for all the books up to number 15. 15 I'll probably do it on its own and do a whole series review for that. So talking about these books, first book here is So Mote It Be, which I believe is a phrase associated with a theme throughout this whole series, Wicca, which is, if you don't know, a kind of witchcraft-based religion started in roughly the 1950s, give or take, and that still exists today, apparently. Some people practice it. I know a very minor amount about it, but not very much. Although I do know it seems to be represented pretty accurately in this book series, which it should be because the author, Isabel Bird, apparently is a Wiccan at the time of writing this and still is. Interestingly, also, this is a pen name. The author's real name is Michael Thomas Ford. I'm not sure why he wrote it under a pen name, maybe because it sounded more exotic, maybe. Who knows? But this is the first book in the series. We have leading characters here around the front cover. And we start off with this character in the middle, who is Kate. Kate is a high school girl. All these girls are in high school. They're second year. And we start off this book in late January of the sophomore year of high school, extending also into early March throughout this book. And Kate here, she has a few friends at school, Tara, Sherry, and Jessica. Sherry's given some prominence because Sherry is kind of a gossip at the school, moving around information about high school drama. And Kate here, we start the book with her in a class, and she's assigned to write a report on the witchcraft trials in the history class. She goes to the library, finds some books, and among these books is apparently a book of spells. Now, in this series, this is not presenting magic like it would in a typical fantasy book, where the book is some kind of magical book or something, and the spells are very flashy. This is apparently a book that's it's revealed in the story, not directly, but kind of secondhand, that some person just kind of wrote from stuff they read elsewhere. And the spells in this book kind of interest Kate because she's never heard of this kind of thing before, a real spell book. So she does something that she comes to regret, and that's try one of these spells, specifically a love spell. She wants one of the stars of the football team at high school, named Scott Coogan, to fall in love with her. So she does this love spell. She doesn't think it'll work. She just tries it out kind of for fun. And after she tries this, she comes back to school the next day, and she gets kind of a surprise, where the spell seems to have worked too well, and that many of the boys at school now want to suddenly be nice to her and talk to her, where they wouldn't have noticed her before. Initially excited about this, she tries another spell, and it comes to turn out that the first and second spells work, again, too well, and they have some repercussions that she doesn't like. So the main thing throughout this book is Kate, having tried these spells, trying to make them stop and get rid of all the bad stuff that's been happening because of them. Along the way, we meet two other characters who are the two other people on this book. To try and end the spell, she looks to see you checked out the book previously, and these two characters have. On the left here, in the red hair, braid, and glasses, is her name just popped on my head. Annie. She's kind of a bookish, very quiet girl whose parents sadly passed away. She lives with her aunt and her little sister. She checked out the book at one point because she likes to read it quite a lot. She checked it out once, tried a couple of spells. They also backfired, and she returned it. They can't really figure out what to do on their own, so they get help again from this girl on the right, another girl who checked out the book. Her name is Cooper. And with her help, they together try to figure out what to do, how to make these spells stop, and how to get rid of these unfortunate things that have been happening at school. None of which are extremely dark. It's mainly just things that are kind of annoying or things that are kind of socially troubling for them, which in high school, that seems like the worst thing, social drama. But they work together, and they do their best to try and make all these problems go away. Which I won't say if they succeed or not. I don't want to spoil the whole book, but they get something done. And by the end of it, they become friends, to the chagrin of Kate's other friends, Sherry, Tara, and Jessica. Annie and Cooper are not extremely popular. No one really talks to them or anything. And so there's a little bit of ongoing tension through the next books. I've read the second, I'm on the third, of Kate being friends with Annie and Cooper while balancing being friends with Sherry, Tara, and Kate. I thought it was quite well written. I was kind of surprised. I was unsure about the high school drama plus witchcraft thing. This is a young adult book. At least that's what it was marketed as, I believe. But it's quite well written. And I was really pleasantly surprised. This brings us into the second book, Merry Meet. On the cover here, this is Kate again. And here, this takes place about a month and a half later. And this has two kind of plot lines throughout this. Kate has still been meeting with Annie and Cooper in secret. Annie, Cooper, and Kate have not told anyone that they've been thinking about witchcraft and Wicca because this town, which I think is in Washington, called Beecher Falls, is not a town where this is a very prominent thing. Or at least it seemed that way until the second book here, where apparently they find flyers to some kind of festival. They find these flyers at an occult bookstore, a Wicca bookstore, which they found in the first book, and which helped them out. And these flyers are for a celebration for one of the 8 apparent Wiccan holidays of the year. This one taking place just after the middle of March, called Ostara. Apparently somehow related to Easter historically. And they decide to go to this little festival where they meet, it seems like at least a couple of dozen other Wiccans, which kind of seems strange because through the course of this book, you come to find that there's this big group of Wiccans, but no one else in the town apparently knows they exist, even though there's this bookstore. Kind of weird, but you know, suspension of disbelief. It's not really that hard to imagine, I suppose, so I just go with it. They go to this festival, they have a nice little time. And here they meet 2 new characters that are really prominent in this book. One of them is, I believe from the description, this male character on the cover here. His name, I believe, is Tyler, and he is a Wiccan. His role in this is that Kate now has a boyfriend from consequences in the previous book. But this boyfriend, although he seems to really like her, they don't really have much in common. She meets Tyler here at this Ostara festival. He's a Wiccan, and they start being friendly, And because they have something in common, there's this conflict with Kate. Does she stick with the boyfriend who likes her right now, but they don't really have much in common? Or this new boy she's just met, doesn't really know much about him, but she can talk about him with, talk to him about Wicca, something that's very secret in her life. And that's a conflict throughout the whole book. I won't say which one she chooses, but um, there are kind of ups and downs about this. So it's not just really a static conflict that actually changes. The other person they meet at this festival is a girl called Sasha. About 1 year their junior. She's, I believe, just under 15. They're each near 16. The three girls, Kate, Cooper, and Annie. And Sasha, they have not seen her before. She says they moved there. Kate, or Sasha and her family moved there just a few weeks ago. And she has quite a personality. She is very extroverted, loud, not afraid to say what she thinks, what's on her mind, which I was worried would become annoying, but really is not really annoying. She just seems like an extroverted person, likable if kind of energetic. She also has a mystery about it, which in the first 50 pages, I won't say what it is, but in the first 50 pages, it's fairly well telegraphed. I was kind of surprised this was the thing about her that was being presented. And I was really interested to see how they were actually going to incorporate this in the plot, because this was kind of an interesting angle. And I think it was done quite well. I really like it. So those are the two major conflicts through this. A third thing, though, that's happening after this festival is that Kate, Annie, Cooper, and Sasha, among some other people, start going to Wicca classes at this occult bookstore called the Crone's Circle. It's a few classes, just once a week for a few weeks, where they talk a little bit, try to learn a little bit more about Wicca, not a huge amount, but a little bit. And at the end of this, there's a little bit of a challenge. They can either do a sort of ceremony in which they pledge to study Wicca for a year and a day, which apparently is a traditional time period of study in Wicca. And at the end of the year and the day, they can decide if they want to keep studying Wicca or not. And again, I think I want to emphasize the magic in this. Some people do magic in this. It's not really flashy or huge, and it's not really clear whether it's working or if it's just things are coincidental. There's a little something in the first book that would be kind of hard to imagine as purely coincidental, but I could buy it. And same thing in this second book as well. Lots of good character writing in this second book, lots of good conflict writing. I really liked it. And I'm continuing on with the series. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish it if they're all as good as the first and second. The second one is actually stronger than the first one, I thought. First one is pretty good. Second one was great. If I rated them out of 5, I'd probably say the first one's a 3.75. Pretty solid, I'd recommend it. The second book, a nice 4.0, definitely improved in the places I think that really helped it. So I actually really recommend this book, not just to young adults, but even adults who might be curious about this kind of story. It's, I think, written in a way that's accessible for both young adults and adults, not all dumbed down at all. I really like it. So that's my review of these first 2 books. I'm probably going to do these book reviews once every other week because I'm reading about one of these per week. And I might even put reviews up in between with single books I've read also in between, or books I've read in the past, some of which I'm actually pretty excited to get more views for. Not like I think my YouTube channel is huge, but who knows, maybe I'll make some people get a resurgence in this. Which, speaking of, these books, they've been out of print for a while. You can definitely get all 15 on Kindle as ebook or whatever device, I'm pretty sure. You can also buy the physical book still, though because of their age, again, the first one was written in 2001, the rest in the early 2000s, they may be somewhat expensive. Though you can still definitely find copies on Amazon and eBay. I did a check recently. Amazon has some copies that were quite cheap. Also, A-Books, another good source that I got some of these books from. I got these all basically from eBay, Amazon, books recently for pretty cheap. So really liking it. Highly suggest it, and that's what I think about the first two. So hopefully the remainders will be just as good. Hopefully this review was helpful. I try to keep it a bit spoiler free generally, and I give enough to interest you. If you have any thoughts about these books or things you want to say about them, feel free to write something in the comments. So until the next video, I guess, very neat.